It was a crisp morning when Elon Musk stepped onto the first-class cabin of an international flight. He had boarded many such planes before, but today felt oddly different. He was headed to an aerospace summit, his mind preoccupied with deadlines, launches, and the ever-pressing mission of pushing humanity toward Mars. As he took his seat near the front, he barely noticed the older woman settling in next to him, elegantly dressed in casual travel attire, a calm confidence about her. She glanced at him and gave a polite smile, the kind that said, "I know who you are," but without the need for fanfare. "Morning," she said with a voice that carried both warmth and authority. "Morning," Elon replied distractedly. The plane taxied, lifted, and soared. Elon, already immersed in his tablet, scrolled through design updates for a propulsion system. But something about the woman beside him felt grounded, as though she wasn't just another passenger in first class, but part of something bigger. "Heading to another big conference?" she asked, glancing sideways at the SpaceX logo on his screen. He nodded. "Yeah, aerospace development, new launch vehicles." "I figured," she said, smiling. "I used to fly planes for a living." That got his attention. "You were a commercial pilot?" he asked, intrigued. She chuckled softly. "Long ago, before all the autopilot systems got fancy, back when flying still felt like flying." Elon set his tablet down. "I'm Evelyn," she said, extending her hand. "Elon," he replied, shaking it. "I know," she said with a wink. They both laughed. Something about the exchange relaxed him. "So, Evelyn," he said, "you flew the old-school way?" "Oh, definitely. I started on propeller aircraft before moving to jetliners. Back then, we didn't just monitor the controls. We felt every part of the plane. You had to be in tune with the sky, the engines, the rhythm of the wind. It was almost poetic." Elon leaned back, his curiosity sparked. "That sounds almost like flying was an art form." "It was," she said simply. "We treated the cockpit like a sacred space, and we treated the passengers as more than just ticket holders." "What do you mean?" Evelyn turned slightly toward him, her eyes thoughtful. "Well, before every flight, we'd walk the cabin, say hello to nervous flyers, talk to children about the clouds. We'd say goodbye from the runway and think about the cities we were about to visit, the lives we might touch. It wasn't just point A to point B, it was an experience." Elon stared ahead. He was used to the sleek, high-efficiency world of modern air travel, where time was optimized and wonder was often an afterthought. "But things have changed, haven't they?" he said quietly. "They have," Evelyn nodded. "Technology's grown, which is wonderful. But somewhere along the way, we lost a bit of the soul of flying. It became about speed, profit, and automation, not about the journey." Her words sat heavily in the air. Elon, always the futurist, felt a strange tug in his chest, a pause in his endless sprint toward tomorrow. "Do you think we can get that back?" he asked. "The heart of aviation?" Evelyn smiled softly. "It's not about going backward. It's about finding a new kind of heart. Maybe it's not how we fly, but why we fly." Her statement lingered. Elon turned it over in his mind like a rare gem. He had always chased speed, efficiency, progress. But now he wondered, was there more? "I've spent so much time focused on the future," he admitted, "but maybe I've missed something. Maybe I've been too focused on the what and not enough on the why. Evelyn gave a knowing nod. That's what makes the what worth it. The plane hummed gently around them, but for a moment the noise faded. Elon felt present, grounded, seen. I think that's something I want to explore, he said. Not just the technology, but the stories, the people, the purpose. Maybe we've lost sight of that. Maybe we can bring it back. Evelyn studied him for a moment. You've got the potential to bring back that heart, but it won't be easy. You can't just build a nostalgic plane. You need to redesign the experience. Elon nodded slowly. That thought had lingered in the back of his mind for years. But now, it had weight. Maybe I've been thinking too small, he murmured. The future of aviation isn't just faster engines or quieter cabins. It's about making the journey meaningful again, making people feel something. Evelyn smiled. That's the magic of flight. It's not the machinery. It's the connection. The emotion, that first takeoff, that window seat view, that sense of being part of something bigger. For the rest of the flight, they spoke like old friends reunited by destiny. Elon's mind buzzed with ideas. A plane designed not just for function, but for feeling, for immersion, for wonder. What if we created something that made people look forward to flying again? He asked. What if the flight was the highlight, not just the way to get somewhere? Evelyn tilted her head. It's possible, but you'll need more than AI and touchscreen windows. You'll need heart. You'll need to think about how the crew interacts with passengers, how comfort feels. Like care, how stories are told in the sky. I like that, Elon said, smiling. A story in the sky. They shook hands again before landing, but something had changed. Elon had arrived on that flight as an innovator. He left as a dreamer, reborn. In the days that followed, he couldn't shake the conversation. He reached out to his team at SpaceX and Tesla, gathering engineers, designers, behavioral scientists. I want to build something new, he said. Not just a plane, an experience. They stared at him, confused. He explained, We're going to reimagine flight. From the airport lounge to the final descent, every moment, every detail, human-centered, story-driven, heart-filled, and, just like that, the seed Evelyn planted began to grow. He called her. I need your help, he said. She didn't hesitate. I'm in. What followed was months of brainstorming, whiteboards filled with sketches, mock-ups of cabins designed to soothe, lighting intended to mimic circadian rhythms, meals crafted to be sensory journeys. The crew was trained not just in safety, but in empathy. Let's make every flight feel like a mission, Evelyn said one day. Something bigger than travel. Something personal. Elon paused. A mission, yes, not a commute. A purpose. When the first prototype was ready, Elon stood on the tarmac beside Evelyn. The plane gleamed in the morning sun, its shape graceful, yet powerful. Are you ready? She asked. He nodded. Let's see if we can bring the magic back. As the engines roared to life, Elon felt something he hadn't felt in years, childlike awe. Inside, the flight wasn't just smooth, it was transformational. Music curated for calm, seating that adjusted to posture and mood. Crew members who listened, shared stories, celebrated life's small moments. When the first real passengers boarded weeks later, they stepped into something unexpected. The flight was no longer a task. It was a memory in the making. Word spread. Videos went viral. Testimonials flooded in. Felt like I was dreaming, one passenger wrote. I remembered why I used to love flying, said another. Evelyn and Elon stood in a hangar 1 year later, watching their dream take flight across the globe. We did it, Elon said. No, Evelyn corrected him. They did. All of them. Everyone who dared to believe that flying could still be magical. Evelyn retired soon after, but her influence soared with every plane that lifted off. Her legacy wasn't just the aircraft. It was in the smiles, the connections, the spark of wonder that now danced again in the eyes of travelers. And Elon? He never looked at the sky the same way again. He continued building, dreaming, innovating, but now with purpose, with heart, with soul. Because